Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another installment of the Green Gauntlet, our weekly Q&A where we answer 5 questions. This week we've got 4 questions from clients and 1 from a prospect. This is Patrick. I'm Josh. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. First question. There really wasn't any bounce in the grain markets after the U.S. bombed Iran's nuclear studies, nor when Iran fired missiles at our base. Why do you think that is?
Because the funds are pushing futures lower. They're massively short in corn, and there's nobody to stop them. Commercials don't mind prices going lower. Small speculators aren't strong enough to stop them. So with the funds being short, they can pretty much right now push us wherever they want, because there's a lot of grain coming out between now and obviously mid-harvest. Commercials know that. They're in no rush to push buying. That's basically a reason. So funds start to liquidate your positions because they don't think it's going to go down any further. We will have a rally. Until then, market's probably going to keep sliding.
Yeah, even the one market you would have expected to really rally was the oil market. I think it did for about 5 minutes. It seemed like a lot of people knew that what was going on in Iran wasn't going to blow up and it wasn't going to lead to something bigger. And not quite entirely sure how so many people seem to know. We read it the same way, but yeah, it seemed like a lot of theater and just something that already rolled down. The information's out there and it moves fast.
Yeah, and Iran is just too weak to really mount anything. We'll see if they're playing possum or are they really that weak. We'll see. We got 2 or 3 weeks to see what happens with Iran and Israel. I don't think peace is here yet.
I agree. I think there'll be more.
Yeah,
Because it seems a little bit too easy and too quick. All right, next question. Am I going to have to add more bins and up my storage to ride out these prices?
storage is a good thing. You could sell July futures or sell off of July futures like 35 cents more than what you would get off the combine. You're going to have opportunities during the course of the year. You get way better basis than what you get at harvest lows. I would say yes, build as many bins as you can, because the subpoena crop has changed fundamentals for the month of August, September, and October, because there's another very large crop coming to market that really hits supports late July, August at full steam. That's a glut of corn coming from South America. Their prices are going lower. At the same time, we have to get rid of our old crop before we harvest the new crop. And then we have the new crop being harvested. The most corn always goes in the U.S., gets moved to the first quarter of the year. And now we have the subpoena crop being moved too. That is ugly for harvest prices.
Yeah, we gotta get creative. I saw yesterday that there was a 3-day window in the past year to sell at the top 10% range with corn. 3-day window. So how do you overcome that? You gotta be able to write it out, and storage helps with that.
Yes.
All right, next question. What is your target for soybeans falling in this drop in prices?
It hasn't changed at all. I still think we can get up to $10.70 to $11, maybe even higher with any kind of weather going forward. Soybeans do not like wet feet. We are expected to yield 52.5, and I will expect significantly less than that, 51 and a half. With the amount of acres that were planted in soybeans, which is very low this year, and we'll learn that on Monday exactly how low, we don't have much wiggle room. And I just don't see the yields being there with soybeans having wet feet in so many areas.
Yeah, I think we've talked about how soybeans had the greatest price potential, and that hasn't really changed. So
That's correct. Yeah.
okay. How do you prepare for major USDA reports like the one we've got coming up on Monday?
Well, if you have an opportunity to make sales, you make sales. It really depends on each individual farmer where he's at. If they're forward priced well enough that you don't have to panic or try to protect too much on the bottom of the hedge account, You try to keep the account open to the top side so that a rally will benefit you, and at the same time have some kind of protection on the downside. Last year, after that report, we slid all the way down to 360 in September futures. We're above $4 right now. 50 cent profit in the hedge account on a move that low would be really helpful.
Okay. All right, final question this week from Prospect. Do you guys put out spot sale recommendations for us cash sellers out there?
Spot sales. We make recommendation whenever we think a price is good. We send out a broadcast. I guess that's a spot sale. But yeah, yes, we do. We're gonna watch and monitor the markets as close as we can, be as creative as we can when we don't get an opportunity. And this is the second year in a row where we've seen prices move significantly lower during the first month of summer, June, which is really depressing for everyone out there, including us here. This is ugly. We very well may put in a low on June 30th. So if that happens, we got to take advantage of any rally we can get in July. But it's just a really pathetic price right now, really depressing for everyone.
Yeah, this great question came directly to me, and what I told the person was that, yeah, we do. One, there's many ways we do this, but people are always welcome to call into us, ask us, hey, I've got good basis, this is a good enough price, I don't have storage, I can't wait, those kinds of things. But yeah, we also do it through our writings, everything, our reports that we publish. We do it in, somewhat indirectly sometimes, but we do a lot of forward sales and use HDA contracts. But for those of you that don't have storage, we even put out in our broadcasts, if you don't have the storage to make this sale, here's what you should do. Right. So we definitely cater to people's individual situations.
In our last cash sale recommendation that went out, I got a lot of phone calls because people couldn't do what we were asking with their elevator. Their elevator wouldn't go up that far to forward price. So we have to come up with alternative plans. We do a broadcast where everybody gets the message at the same time. And then my clients call in if they can't do it, or if they have a question, or they need an alternative plan off of what we recommended. That is awesome. Love it when the guys call in. We can make specific plans for them, measuring their risk, what their fin capabilities are when they need cash flow. Take all that in consideration to tailor that broadcasted recommendation to their operation.
Yeah, best advice is to call it. All right, good. That's all for this week. Thanks again to everyone for the questions. If you have a question you want to have answered by us, submit it to adminstaff@hedge-plus.com. Hope everyone has a great week.
And I know that the markets are depressing right now. They're depressing us too.
Yes.
But, as they say, it's always darkest before the dawn. So let's hope.